This is Seven Pines on Legendary difficulty. And before going into the Battle of Seven Pines, I go ahead and ramp up my units and switch things around a little bit. This is a good battle. I'm not going to talk the whole way through it. It's pretty straightforward. My plan is just to bring my units onto the battlefield. We should have more than enough to be able to get a good result. We do get a good result. All I've got to do is bring my army onto the battlefield, consolidate my army, reinforce my infantry with artillery support. This is a waste of money, putting veterans into these units, but I'm still working on getting 2 stars, which is a complete waste of cash. So I'm pushing these up to 1,500 for my 55s. Yeah, bad idea. Boy, that's so close to 2 stars. That's what I was thinking. And this guy has 2 stars. So my idea is that the guy with 2 stars will get some XP and then it won't cost so much. So I did build some ballast, but yeah, 7 pines. So it's a good result. I'm happy with it. And training, 71 to 74, we're able to knock that down a bit. The replacements were highly spirited. It's a good battle. So the most important thing in my mind is get out of there. I know the AI is going to charge like a crazy person. So I actually detach skirmishers and have my infantry on the left route just to get some distance. I finally get around to telling the guys on the right to route too after I get the artillery moving and get my guys moving toward the front. So that's pretty much it. All I want to do is get some kind of a line with artillery support. I brought in my 24-pound howitzer. And then use the combined weight of my army to crush the enemy. So all we have to do is survive the initial attack. Well, actually, it's lots of attacks by the enemy. And the enemy has 1-star units at this point, which is crazy considering the level of training the enemy has. So yeah, I brought in 2 24-pound howitzers and didn't move them. So yeah, it's a complete screw up. How did I forget to move the 24-pound howitzers? It's crazy. But I didn't reload or anything. Just that's fine. So I'm looking at the enemy units. I must have scaled the enemy up because he's at 2,000. And my units are somewhere between, 1,200 or 1,300 and 1,500. So the allied units are pretty small. But overall, the enemy does not. I mean, if it's within 2 to 1, it's an okay fight. And I'm not facing all 3-star units, so this is not as difficult as I thought it was going to be. So yeah, I'm having the guys on the far left. I just don't want the guys on the left to do what they normally do, which is to do a whole bunch of fighting in the beginning. The right looks like it's fairly stabilized. The center, fairly stabilized. Fairly. I'm hoping he'll go into the water, which he does. That's got to be a 0 cover position. And while he's in that 0 cover position, I should be able to hurt him pretty badly. So I have combined the 2 allied units that were pretty small. I don't think I would do that in the future. from what I've seen watching these videos, units that are combined just don't do well. So I don't think I'm going to do very much of combining in future battles, in future campaigns. So there's a detached skirmisher that's undersized, and we're going to recombine him. And at this point, the line is fairly stable. I have now kind of the big mass in the center. I have 3 artillery, and they're going to do a really good job. And on the right, I have 3 infantry and an artillery. All I really need to do is just let the superior weight of my artillery come to bear, and I win. So I fell back to stay out of melee, and he's going to take fire from 3, maybe 4 infantry. So that's not going to last terribly long, and he's going to take some canister, and he's gone. So yeah, 1-star unit gone. And on the far right, 3 infantry firing into 1. Yeah, he's gone. So we're going to do this for a while, and I think I actually get into melee because I really want to drop the enemy down by capturing units. So I think we actually get into melee, and I have allied troops to do that. You'll see in the after action report, I really didn't take that close a look to it because the allied units, I'm trying to have them do a lot of fighting, and that screws up the kill ratio. But yeah, it's a good battle. I think my units came out of it really well, and the fact that we drove down training a little bit is a good thing. And then we get to move on to the really big battle. We get to move on to the what we've been building for. And yeah, the only thing I would do differently going into Gaines's Mill, and Gaines's Mill is the big battle. I mean, everything is in the early campaign is geared toward Gaines's Mill. The only thing I'd do differently is I'd build bigger units so that the enemy didn't get a chance to scale up training. And I would, by scaling up and killing more of the enemy in the early part of the campaign, maybe training would stay at 50, and then the campaign would be a whole lot easier. So yeah, the other legendary campaigns I've watched, the enemy stays at 50. That makes a huge difference in how the AI plays, how the enemy army fights. And when you get into the 70s, it might, I mean, I'm having a really good time. So while I'm doing the voiceover for this, I actually just finished Parker's Crossroads and had a great time, Parker's Crossroads. All the units were 3 stars. They fought like crazy. I wiped them out. Would have been easier if every single unit wasn't the Iron Brigade that I fought, but that's okay. I mean, it's an interesting battle. It was an interesting and fun battle. So probably my guess is probably most people that have to restart the campaign, and I know a lot of people have. They play on Legendary and they restarted. What probably happened, I don't have anything to support this, and I'm not going to research it because I'm too lazy. But what I can imagine happened was because it's so random, if training goes up real high, the enemy is going to inflict massive losses on your army. And then you have to build larger units, which drives up scaling, and it's a vicious cycle. So if in the early campaign you don't, you're just lucky, and the enemy doesn't drive up training, then it's a whole lot easier campaign. And what seems to happen is, you shatter units, those guys are all 3 stars, they go back to the pool, they're still 3 stars. So it's a vicious cycle. You get behind, the enemy gets 3 stars, they keep 3 stars, and it's really tough to knock them down. So I imagine the only way to knock them down, really, in any meaningful way, is capture a lot of the enemy, so they don't get to go right back into the manpower pool. So yeah, it seems that you play the early campaign. If you're unlucky, restart is probably the way to go. Now, I'm not doing that. I'm talking about restarting. I'm not restarting. I'm having a great time. This is a ball. I'll play the Union campaign again. I'm sure, for I've played this thing for 1,000 hours. I'm sure I'll play it more. Um, I like it. It's fun. I'll pay attention to training a lot more next time. Um, this is the first time I've really paid attention. I've always watched the manpower pool, and now I'm much more concerned about the training level than the manpower pool. So, um, yeah, next time I will watch the training level like a hawk, and hopefully I get, just better die rolls, and, we'll see how the campaign goes next time. So, but so far, I'm about to go into um, uh, Stones River, and got out of Fredericksburg. Fredericksburg was great. It was actually easier, and I got a better result than I did on Major General. And yeah, it's I'm having a good time, so I'm not going to stop playing. That I can. It's perfectly understandable that somebody would. So yeah, I'm watching this video, and I can't believe I'm watching 1-star and 2-star units. Seems like it's been forever since I saw anything but 3-star. Yeah, by the time of Parker's Crossroads, I'm interested to see what happens at Stones River, but by the time, I'm thinking it's going to be all 3-star units. So I'll be surprised. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking. You can watch the rest of this, and I'll see you at, I don't know if I'm going to do a camp phase or not, but I'll see you at Gaines's Mill. And yeah, the enemy's very tough at Gaines's Mill, and I'm in for a bit of a surprise. And Malvern Hill is about the most fun I ever had playing Malvern Hill. The enemy is really tough and drives me off of the victory location, and I have to fight. And yeah, it's just great fun. And I talked about falling back to a defensive position that that I wanted to use on Major General, and I didn't because the enemy didn't push me off of the victory location um, to the front of the line. But the enemy does push me off on Legendary, and I do fall back to the position that I wanted to fall back to on Major General. And yeah, it is a very, very good time. Very, very good time. So the only mistake I made was my units were too small for Legendary with training of 70. That's the only mistake that I made. So, but it all worked out. So I'm going to stop talking now, and I will see you in the next video.